start off by saying thank you for your patience. So we are off to a little bit late here this morning, but thank you so much for your patience. I have a wonderful co-host who's starting with me today. Belinda Foster is an amazing lady. She was the one responsible for all of the PR work in '09 when I was able to have a platform to explain what had happened to our beloved Michael Jackson. So I want to thank Belinda, and now she's on board now as my co-host. An outstanding publicist. She's just unbelievably wonderful. So it's a blessing to have you here, Belinda Foster. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lee. And it's a pleasure to be here today with you and with your wonderful listeners on your terrific show.
Thank you. So I'm going to have you to kind of tell a little bit about a background of our guest today.
Absolutely. Well, we are just proud to have such a wonderful individual who will be interviewing today. His name is A.J. Beech, Alton J. Beech. He's the senior pastor of Greater Anointing Harvest Church in Boston, Massachusetts. And he has a poignant story to share with us today in regards to his book, a book that was published a week before the 9/11 tragedy. And the name of the book is entitled Push Beyond Your Pain. In the overall thesis of the book, it deals with ways in which we can cope and help one another in surviving the wilderness experience after loss. And I cannot say how timely this book is in relation to the news, of course, of the unfortunate tragedy that took place in Newtown, Connecticut. This book offers hope and encouragement as well as insight to those who are battling pain during this time of the year. And we are so happy to have him on today to talk about the book, the content, and his motivation behind the book itself.
You know, the one thing that I just found out that I thought was wonderful, and the book actually, he couldn't print them fast enough, that he had just published the book right before 9/11.
Yes.
And can you imagine he was able to help so many people? And that's what we do. We try to be helpful to one another. And I just want to say, before we really start with him too, that our prayers go out to the families and their loss, but to all the families who have lost loved ones.
Yes.
Because it's been so many. We hear about it in the news daily. And we almost lost one of our beloved people here in the community. I'm just so grateful his life was spared, and he's doing wonderful. Akiti is doing wonderful after being struck by a car the way he was struck. He's going to be telling his own story, I'm sure. But it is an amazing story, and he is walking around to talk about it.
Absolutely.
But I just want to say, we hear on the news and we hear about so many people, and especially a lot of our African American men. My heart go out to their families, and prayers go out to them, and all the other children and people who have lost fathers this year.
Yes,
we're coming to an end of a year now, and my heart and prayers go out to everyone who have lost a loved one or a friend. Because a loss is a loss, and it doesn't have to sometimes be a biological family member that we lose. But my prayer does go out to those who have had a loss this year. At Nutrimed Integrated Healthcare, I work very closely with people who have lost loved ones because I had 5 family members that I lost myself in 2010. And very painful. So I work closely, too, with a lot of flower essence, Bach flower essence, as it deals with when a person is going through a loss, because it sort of cushions, because it really tears down our immune system when we go through something like that. I mean, if you lose a loved one, you have to really watch your blood pressure, watch your blood sugar if you're diabetic. It is so important that everything with you, if you have a health issue, is monitored. We had a very dear friend, without mentioning the name, that his mother was so grieved by his death, she died that night of a heart attack too. Yeah.
Really? Oh my goodness.
So the grieving, you have to make sure that you're doing things to keep yourself healthy, because it's very hard, and
Hmm.
it really pulls on the immune system. So, and it will weaken. It will weaken your immune system. So, when we're grieving, sometimes you don't want to eat because you don't have an appetite, all these different things. But your Bach flower essence, your aromatherapies, they do kind of help cushion that blow. And
Absolutely.
really take care of yourself and be around people that you love and stay and hug someone. Hugging is so healing, also.
You know, Dr. Lee, this is amazing. I can only imagine how many people really understand the depth of the whole experience of losing a loved one and how, and like you said, how it affects the immune system. It's phenomenal what you just described.
Yes, I know because of the people, the five family members that I lost, and I didn't realize. And I'm speaking from experience
Hmm.
because I didn't even realize my own blood pressure had gone up so high,
Hmm.
after I've lost, in 2010, it was my mother that that had her home going, my mother
Right.
and my mother, my brother, and two cousins. So it was quite a
Hmm.
bit for the year. Uh,
Yes.
to go through those things. And then in between all of that is when I had my blood pressure to go up extremely high. And
Really, really.
it's amazing to bring it down as fast as I did is because of what I was taking.
Hmm.
I was taking some wonderful, good essential fatty acid, coenzyme Q10. I did
Hmm.
everything to safeguard my heart. So my heart muscle is very strong.
Yes.
In lieu of the fact my blood pressure was 200.
200?
200.
Really? Oh
Mm.
my goodness. And let
Uh,
me ask you a question. Did it feel like your pressure was that high, or you didn't have any idea, you wouldn't have
no,
known if you hadn't
you
checked it?
you do not know, but I know to start checking things when I'm
Yeah.
under. That was extreme stress of
Yeah.
my mother, and so many things surrounding my mother also during that time. So this is why I checked it myself, and I said, "Oh my goodness, okay, let me go do this really quick. Let me go start taking care of myself,
Hmm.
and grab my aromatherapies and do some things." So it helped cushion a lot of that. But because I had so many funerals so close together,
Sure.
then I had to really, be very aggressive with my own treatment.
Oh, this is amazing. And I think that people all over the world can benefit to what you're talking about here, because you don't hear about these things on radio or in print publications, how to cope with mourning, the emotion of loss, and the emotional tear, as physical tear as you just described, that it can impact the body's health. And this is amazing. Tell me more about the Bach flower essence. I'm fascinated about that.
Well, I think it was Dr. Bach that came out with Bach flowers, and it's been researched for years. And we know we can walk into a place, and smells are important. We can
Hmm.
smell something like cinnamon. Did you
Hmm.
know cinnamon would trigger you to start shopping and spending more money?
Really?
If you notice, if you went to a mall, they're preparing those cinnamon, for some
Yes.
reason, spend more money that day. Well,
Yes.
cinnamon kind of will do that. And, so different smells will help to relax you. Peppermint is very good.
Hmm.
Different essential oils. So peppermint, lavender.
Yes.
We have one produced by a company called, actually it's called Joy. And
Really?
joy really makes you feel good.
Really?
To the point that I would put it on, patients will come in, feel a little down, and I could see them start cheering up a little bit. And I don't care
Uh-huh.
what they come in to talk about. It really makes a big difference the day that I put joy on and be close to that person versus not wearing it. There was a lady who was on her way for a very intense meeting with her supervisor who was always giving her a hard time. Number
Okay.
one, we prayed about it before she left. And
Yes.
then I told her, okay, I'm going to put this joy all in your hand and around the inner surface of your arm. And when you arrive there to meet with him, shake his hand and couple your hand over his other hand so he get the joy on him.
Interesting.
And
I want
you
a
know,
bottle of that. Where can
she
I get the joy? Can you have any joy? I want to treat
and
myself for the holidays with a bottle of that, right?
it was the best meetings she had ever had with him. He did not have an attitude. He wasn't unhappy. He wasn't putting her down. I mean, she said that was the best meeting. And she said, I could tell, like, he really had something else to say that might not have came out too nice, but he was so happy. I mean, I think he was puzzled why he was so happy.
He didn't even understand it. Is that what you're
I don't,
saying?
I don't think so. So, it's just wonderful to know these things because I know my grandmother, when my father passed in 1999, my grandmother was taking it really, really hard. So I actually gave her it's a homeopathic remedy to help
Hmm.
you through. And then some of it's real simple. Acute rescue is very good. And she was able to get, I mean, because we didn't want to lose her going through the funeral, you know?
Right, right.
And she went through it very, very well. Matter of fact, we were all very surprised. But then I gave it to the whole family, so everybody went through it pretty well.
Hmm.
Uh, they went through it pretty well. So, to do things and to, and to know if you have someone in your city, this aromatherapist, they can help you out with that. But I tell people certain things you just want to keep, especially acute rescue, because things are so devastating that are hitting us today.
Yes.
And with acute rescue, that really can relax you. Lavender is very good. It's just several out there, and then there's combinations of aromatherapy and Bach flowers that I use based on a person's history. I
Hmm.
have a depth questionnaire that a person fill out. So if you have fears or you're shy or you're, uncomfortable standing in front of people, I was taking the one for shyness when I started my radio show.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wait a minute. Okay, tell me about that. I mean, that's interesting.
It's
The shy, would
really,
you say, what was the effect of putting on the shyness? You say the putting on the shyness
it
oil?
kind of blocked those inhibitions for me being shy and
Wow.
really tensed and nervous. So
Okay.
calming effects within this, it's a full compound. So just say, for instance, fear. If a
Hmm.
person, well, let's say anger. If you're very angry,
Right.
there's a compound. And it's a Bach flower with many herbs in it and essential oils all together.
Yes.
Because you have to be mindful that not only will the anger or that you have toward a situation or a person is going to start affecting your liver. So
Oh,
this is
wow.
designed in such a way. I love this particular company
Hmm.
because it's designed in such a way. Not only are you helping with the fear and anger, you're also helping with the organ system that's going to be affected.
That is so amazing. This is interesting because I remember growing up, you know how it is when your family tells you it's good to express your emotions and release them, but it's also important to control them, would you say, especially when it comes to anger?
Yes, almost
Absolutely.
definitely. I mean,
Yeah,
we all have anger. We all go through stress. It's just how long do you hold it?
right.
The longer you hold that stress and anger, it is going to totally wipe out your immune system. Um,
Amazing.
and this is why I work so close even with cancer patients and different people. Any autoimmune disorder, you don't have to have anything wrong. If you stay in a stressful mode for days and days and days, it
Hmm.
is to definitely weaken your immune system, your thymus gland. It's going to weaken the immune system. Then those are the people that are subjected to obtaining a cold very easy.
Hmm.
And on the emotional component of a cold, outside of the environmental factors, we have to look at confusion. If you're
Right.
in an area where there's a lot of confusion, you know,
Okay.
that's going to hit, the system as far as colds and upper respiratory system. So, I look at the whole body in treatment, but I suggest, most people should always carry a bottle of rescue. There
Hmm.
was a gentleman who actually worked for the company that had a traumatic car accident.
Hmm.
Um, he and his partner were spared. His business partner, they were spared, but it was so traumatic, and they had a bottle of rescue in the car. They
Yes.
immediately took the rescue, and it took the fear. It helped them with the fear and the nervousness of the car accident. And
Amazing.
actually,
Wow.
my granddaughter ran into some monkey bars at school. She's 5 years old.
Hmm.
To some monkey bars at school, And long story short, dislocated her jaw. When
Oh.
she came to the office, she could not close her mouth. She was in such pain, and
Mm-hmm.
she did not want to see anyone. She didn't want anyone to touch her. She was screaming, and I got a little peppermint, just a little, and had placed a little peppermint on her under her nose, just a tiny, tiny bit. And
Okay.
in seconds, she said, "Okay, grandmother, I'm ready to go see the dentist now."
What? That is amazing.
She was ready. It worked that fast, and it calmed her down.
Wow.
She,
Wow.
so I had my daughter take the bottle with her, and when she got to the doctor's office, she was able to sit there and have her exam. It was painful, yes, but she was actually able to sit there because she had lost a tooth,
Yes.
able to sit through the exam itself. So it's amazing how they work, and they work on the emotional component
Yes.
very, and they've been around for years.
Mm-hmm. You know, this is absolutely enlightening, because when you think about it, it's a testimony that there are natural remedies that exist that are right around us, and many people have no idea the multiple qualities, like you said, of peppermint, of all things.
Mm,
Peppermint. It's amazing.
It's good if you have a sinus condition too, but very good. And then your lavenders, and then there's so many oils
Hmm.
and flowers that I use for so many
I
conditions.
love I love lavender.
Hmm.
The aroma. Oh my goodness, it smells so good. I just love it. But it's nice to know that there are healing properties to it as well.
Yes, yes, I am so grateful for that. I think we're going
Absolutely.
to get our wonderful guest on the line because his book is incredible. His journey of why he wrote the book, I think, is phenomenal. And my goal with the Cherilyn Lee Health Show and with, doing the show in general is to help people, to be a vehicle to help people through these hard times because we're all going through something here and there.
Yes. Yes.
Want to help people. So,
Absolutely. And for all of you out there that are looking to call in, the number is 310-928-7733. 310-928-7733. And the email address is innerlightradio@yahoo.com.
okay. So, I want to thank everybody for being here. We're going to take a little break just for a moment, and we'll be coming back with our wonderful guests for this hour. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be right back. Just taking a little break. Thank you. Hi. Welcome back to Cheryl Lee Health Show. Thank you so
Hello.
much. Thank you so much. Welcome back to the Cheryl Lee Health Show. I have my wonderful guest with me, and Belinda's going to tell you a little bit more about our wonderful guest, and we're going to bring you on the air in just a moment, Pastor.
We are
Okay, all right.
so we are so happy to have such a distinguished individual as Alton J. Beech join us today on the Cherilyn Lee Health Show. He's the senior pastor of Greater Anointing Harvest Church in Boston, Massachusetts. He has a poignant story to share. He has ministered on the Trinity Broadcasting Network, on TBN networks, and other television networks across America. He has his own television ministry, ministering to millions of believers, and he travels extensively preaching the gospel and has a passion for feeding and clothing the poor. And he's a wonderful father, a wonderful leader, and we're proud to have him here today. And he is the author of an incredible book entitled Push Beyond Your Pain. Please welcome Reverend Alton J. Beech.
Amen. My pleasure. My pleasure. How are you?
Oh, it's a pleasure.
We're blessed. We're tremendously blessed. And, we have had many conversations, and I want to just kind of jump in lieu of time as to what was your motive of writing the book titled
Well, my
Push Beyond
motive,
Your Pain?
it was, the motive came from my own experience. I've gone through many different experiences, but particularly when I got converted back to Christianity, and I've gone through a lot of painful issue, disappointment, things I was expecting, you know what I mean? And then with all those pain comes a lot of anger and emotional feelings, and then it also reminded me of what I brought over into my Christianity, the anger, the suicidal thoughts, et cetera, and I was just a thought tell me, write down your feelings, write down what you're going through, put pen to paper. And I put pen to paper, and I came up with that book and put it on the shelf, and had a vision that I should put it in a book. And I put it in a book, and I sent it out to the company. They loved it, and here we are.
Wonderful. I did mention that the book was published right before the 9/11. Would you like to expound on that a little bit more?
Yeah, the book happened to come out a week before 9/11. As a matter of fact, that week, right, I was on TVN the week after in New York, too. So that week just automatically came out, and because of that, the title of the book, we tremendously sold a whole lot of books and a lot of testimonies just from death of a loved one, people was planning to commit suicide, people who have been divorced, people who have given up on life. Because the book is teaching you that in life, everyone goes through pain, but just don't stop there. Use whatever you go through as a springboard to push you forward.
Most definitely, yes.
Pastor, I was looking at the subtitle, Push Beyond Your Pain, How to Survive Your Wilderness Experience. This is amazing. One of the chapters in the book, Your Wilderness Experience, Finding the Good in It. Can you share a little bit about your insight into that chapter?
Well, that chapter had to do with after I've gotten saved, I was being stripped from everything I came over with. Mm-hmm. I was in drugs, I was selling drugs, and have nice cars, those things that I've gotten illegal. So I've gone through about 3.5 years of stripping. Stuff been taken away from me. But in the process of it, I was being cleansed, purified.
Yes.
It's like a born-again experience and then at the same time I was building integrity. So it's like one was being taken away. So in order for me not to be taken away with because some people, when things are taken away from their life, they fall apart.
Right.
So
right.
I couldn't fall apart with the stuff that was removing out of my life because it was the bad stuff, the stuff that I didn't want to remember. But
right.
My integrity, my faith, and prayer kept me believe until everything was restored a few years later.
It's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. And these words, I think this book is needed in America today, in the world. I think that the families who lost loved ones in the recent Newton tragedy would be truly helped by this book. They will find comfort in the words that you shared in this book.
Well, I got letters from Africa. I got letters from everywhere. Just name it. Tons of letters.
Yes.
That how they've been blessed. Just regular one who have lost a loved one. Mm-hmm. This book will help you to see the insight. A lot of people are going through the wilderness. You don't like it. You can't stand it. You're frustrated. But it's working for good. It's later on when you look back, you see that, wow.
Yeah. That's so true.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And I just want to say, and a lot of times people feel that they're the only, when you're going through it, you feel alone and you feel like you're the only one going through it.
That's right.
Well, that's a normal thing. You're gonna because and that have to do with building character in you. You know, it's character. And so you got to go through it by yourself. You got to go through the fire by yourself. You got to go through the storm by yourself. But if you withstand it, there's a scripture in this Psalm 66 where the Lord said to David, I'll let man put whips on your loins. I'll bring you through the water. I'll bring you through the fire to bring you to a wealthy place. So we go through stuff, and if you're not careful, you cannot die in your situation. You want to live through it so you'll see the best that comes out of it.
Yes, and Pastor, I don't want to cut you off, but we do have a caller. Caller, can you state your name and where you're calling from and your question? Thank you so much for calling.
Yes, hi. My name is Devonay Unleashed, and I'm calling in today because the show is awesome. The topics are fantastic. Depression is one of the greater things in this society that needs to be addressed. It's amazing. And Reverend, the things that you're saying are right on point. I really believe that you have to start with the self-preservation in order to see some of the goodness that God has in store for you. So when we do go through these problems in life and we do have these situations in life, it is so good to know and be able to tap into a higher power that will allow you to understand your surroundings. So I'm enjoying this show a lot.
Amen. Thank you. Because you know what happened, Doctor? A lot of people are copycat. Suicide, they think it's the way out, but that's just the beginning of life. And you better make sure that your life is right. So it's an easy way, it's a cheaper way, and it's a selfish way. But the most authentic way is to live through life. Life is not fair. We wasn't born perfect. So you're going to go through things. But you can become perfect when life throws you stuff, perfected. So you're not being beaten. It's like a boxer. You wonder how they get so much punch in their face, but you have to get used to the punch till it becomes nothing. And so life going to throw you some stuff, but you got to duck, and whatever it hits you with, you let it make you stronger.
Yes, and don't obtain brain damage. I just have to say that. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. But and Devonay, I've been knowing you for a long time. You are such a wonderful, inspiring person, and I know your show is on right after me. So right after the Cherilyn Health Show. So I want to thank you so much for calling in today. Also, yeah, you have other questions because I know you do. You're just full of questions.
No, I don't really have it. And it happens sometimes. That's why I love my audience also, because sometimes people just want to listen. They want to obtain knowledge. They want to just chill out and hear what you got to say. And that's what I'm doing today. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much for calling in, Devonay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Amen.
Well, we have a question that just came in through email in regards to this particular show. And there's a lady here, and she's saying that she feels depressed at this time after losing her dad. And she said that pain pills work for physical pain, but not for emotional pain. And she's asking about your book, Pastor, and how can she deal with her pain during this time? Are there ways that she can exercise or do something to help alleviate her pain?
Well, I don't want to be biased. Let me just speak from other people, because I'm going to grade my book. It's the best because it came out of my very own pain. And who can write a book and relate than the person you can relate to?
Yes.
But based on the testimony over these years, if she reads the book, she will get help. Because she's not hearing some person who trying to conjure up writing a book about pain.
Yes.
She's hearing it from someone who experienced it. And there's a difference when you sing out of your just head or sing out of your heart.
That's true. Yes.
It was written out of my heart.
And I'm sure your EKGs are normal because when your heart is in something and you come from a pure heart, it actually helps the heart to heal. So if you had
Amen.
high blood pressure, congestive heart failure, anything going on with the heart, it really, once you come from a pure heart, it really has a lot to do with the health of that heart also. Because
Oh
heart
wow.
attacks normally is the heart attacking you. You're not
Mm-hmm.
attacking the heart. So it's just vice versa. People say I had a heart attack. No, it's a little the other way around. Because most of
The
the
heart
people,
attack had
if
you.
you see a person who have a breakup and they said that person broke my heart, what do? They grab their chests.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
They grab
Mm-hmm.
their chests. And
Mm-hmm.
they see something awful. They say, "Oh, that broke my heart." They grab their chests. And that's what it's going to start affecting. So we have to be very careful. And like I said, when things are going on in our lives, do something to keep the body healthy as you're going through it.
Wow. Yep. It's a combination of getting up and turn the lights on and remove the windscreen and the window shades and tell death, stare death in the eyes and said, I'm going to live. David put it like this: I will live and not die and declare the works of the Lord. So
Mm-hmm.
that means I will come through this. This too shall pass.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Hmm. And when there's a loss, I'm also writing a book, which is written before I was born. But there's a part of the book that I have written, and basically I have spoke about this issue or this topic in many public settings. But when I was in a coma in '92, and I had this wonderful out-of-body experience, I had gone to heaven or to a wonderful, wonderful place, and it was just phenomenal. And to the point that when God said it's time for me to come back, this is more to the journey, I didn't want to, and I wanted to stay there. So when I finally came out the coma, I was really angry with God. I said, how could you put me in such a wonderful place, pull me away from this madness here in this world, and I have to now live through this madness? Because when I was in that space, I didn't realize I had 3 children, and during that time, my father was alive, my mother was alive. You didn't know you were leaving loved ones. So when people cross over, um, you don't remember the pain and suffering that you had. All you know is right now in that very moment. And I have spoke about this in many settings of when there's funerals and it's comforting for a person to not feel that this person was in so much pain, because I felt nothing. My family kept seeing what I looked like in the hospital bed, but I was somewhere else having a great time.
Well, I can relate to you too. Remember, the scripture said, "There He will wipe all tears away from your eyes." So there is no pain there. It's not being selfish. You're in a different world, experiencing something unique, things that your mind cannot even comprehend, and that's what it is. So the pain is for our human flesh because of sin. That's why we go through pain, and because of what Adam and Eve did. So, but there's a better place, and that's what this book is talking about. Not just when you die, but here on the earth, where you don't have to die with your... Look at on 9/11. Look at the way New York City looked after the
Oh yeah.
catastrophe.
Oh yeah.
But look at New York City right now. You could build again. You can survive again.
That's right. That's right.
And you get up and move. So push beyond your pain and survive in the world. Because wilderness is where everything's taken away from you.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm going to live in it until it start blooming again. I'm going to live until it start blossoming and fruit start coming back on the tree.
Yes.
And that's what it's all about, the wilderness experience. So it's a combination of, and it takes, you have to, you won't deal with pain, but I'm going to survive this.
Right.
It's
Right.
an attitude of survival.
Right. And we have another listener that has just emailed in another question. This is a young man, and Pastor, this is directed toward you. He said that he had broken up with his girlfriend 3 months ago, and they've moved on with their lives. But he said he doesn't understand why, even to this day, every time he looks at her picture, he experiences emotional pain. Can your book help him with that pain?
Once again, it will. It will. Like the book now, it's not magic. It just point out to you and release to you what's already in you. The answer's already in you, but you don't realize it.
Yeah.
So the book just brought it. It's just like a dark place. When you turn the light on, you realize, oops, that's where it is.
Mm-hmm.
So you see, it's in you. The answer's already in you, but through reading. All right, I just came from California, okay, and I
Sure.
noticed this. I played a part in a movie as I was acting, but I noticed when I came home, as I look at television, I look at it very differently.
Yes. Yes.
Because I was acting, I was doing a movie myself. So as you begin to read the book, then you're going to really see other things that you never thought wasn't there. So it's natural. It is. This book can touch you, and it will. I get just by the testimonies. That's it. Just by the testimony I've received.
This is
Excuse me.
fantastic.
Yeah, it is. And I just want to say, too, we have so many problems in the breakdown of family, the foundation of a family. And I know that's
Mm-hmm.
one of the chapters in your book.
Mm-hmm.
And we have, we hear about this because it's in the Bible, mothers against daughters, and that was some of the issue I think would happen here in Connecticut. But maybe part of it, who knows? But anyway, we see so much of it nowadays with the children. They're fighting their parent. I've had several situations where the son had actually physically beat up his mother. And so we're seeing a lot of this happening, and the foundation of the families are falling apart. And one
Mm-hmm.
sister who is an adult don't want to speak to the other sister. So, what are you doing? Does your book actually address maybe more of the foundation and getting the family back together and loving each other?
Well, the book also addressed both ways. Number one, a lot of things that you see happen. All right, if you see, not all the time, but sometimes you see a bad child, you got to check out the parent.
Mm-hmm.
Not all the time, but sometimes. You see a good child, you check out the parent. Vice versa. In other words, there are some family have gone so bad that because of neglect, et cetera, if you neglect the children, we're going to have a bad society.
Oh, yeah.
You see, so sometimes you can see. So we need to pay more attention. It should be more family. We love the media, we love the internet, we love the text, but family don't have a chance to talk anymore. We don't even sit
So
and eat
true.
breakfast together anymore.
That's
It's
so
all
true.
texting. It's different when how you doing, love you. Everybody's so busy building their own kingdom and their own career that we're
Ooh.
neglecting our own families.
Yes.
Wow.
So when they have all these things in them and it stirs up and boils up and it comes out, number one, it builds a selfishness. And then their selfishness, they take it out on innocent people. And because you have media, people are doing the copycat.
Oh, yeah.
They like, okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'm
Right.
going to blame somebody else for what my mom didn't give me, what my dad didn't give me. Basically, my mom left when I was 2 years old. My father died when I was 7. Okay, but I grew up dysfunctional, but after getting in church, my life began to build, and I'm a good family man because what my father couldn't give me, I now give it to my son and my kids.
Oh, my goodness. That's beautiful.
That is.
It's very touching. Absolutely.
Because we have a lot of single dads nowadays. I mean, you're married and have your wife and children, but there's a lot of single fathers today too that are really going through it. I know I deal with a lot of them here in the clinic. And then we have a lot of single moms, single family homes that are happening right now. So in the time of, this is a time where we see December, when a lot of people are celebrating certain holidays, where you hear and see so much going on with suicide.
Yes.
So, and I just want you to kind of address that. I have my way of addressing it too, Pastor, but people who are contemplating suicide. Actually, without going into a lot of detail, someone put it on Facebook, and it was somebody that I know that they were trying to attempt suicide. And I kind of feel when you go that far, then you kind of, you're really crying out for help. And I think people need to rally around that person to find out what's really kind of going on and
Mm-hmm.
see how we can support that person. Because sometimes, again, when it hits you so hard, so many things, it's like, I can't take it anymore. And that's where a lot of people are. I just can't take it anymore. Knowing, too, what you had said, too, Pastor, this day shall pass.
Well, you know what? You said it right. It's pain, hidden pain. Because a lot of people really want to go out and commit suicide. They'll just do it. But once they start talking, it's a way of they communicating their pain.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's how they communicate their pain. It feels better to say, "I'm just going to kill myself," instead of and they wait till something occurred. Well, that child or so, you need to take him aside, not just when they say that, but even in general. Take him out to dinner. Just talk to him about life, etc. What are you going through? Who are you around, etc., etc. It's all about communication.
Yes.
And most people done wrong. If you could catch them 5 minutes before they do it, they won't do it.
Right. That's it.
Yeah. Because I had a lady years ago, she came into a clinic where I was working part-time, and she was very, very depressed, and it was raining. It's funny because it was around this time of the year. Weather was really bad. And she said, well, I'm here because basically I was covering at a clinic. So she said, I'm here to just get a refill of my medication. And I looked at her and she said, I could tell she had been crying. She looked very depressed. And I said, why don't you tell me what's really going on? It's more to it than you're just here to get a refill on your blood pressure medicine. So what's really going on? And again, this was years ago, and it was not a holistic clinic. And she said, well, she said, you can't help me. Why would I waste my time to tell you? And I told her, I said, well, you don't know that because, number one, I pray and I meditate. And everything that I do, I ask God, just use me. I ask the universe to support me, and God to just support me, to use me to be a vehicle to help others. So finally, she said, well, I'm being evicted. My son has sent me the money, but I'm not going to receive the money in time, and they're going to put me out on the street, and it's raining. Well, I had her chart in front of me, and I'm looking at the fact that her EKG was abnormal, and she said, oh, my goodness, she didn't realize it was because a lot of what was happening with her was affecting her heart, too. So I said, at this point, I need to really, I would like to do a 24-hour Holter monitor and put you on a 24-hour Holter. And she had already shared with me she was going to court the next day. I said, well, you're going to go to court with this monitor on because, number one, I need to know what's going on with your heart. She was able to do that. It bought her some time. The money came in on time, and she did not lose her home. She wasn't put out on the street. So sometimes when you just talk to someone and share what's going on, you never know how that person might be instrumental. Or sometimes just talking it out yourself, you say, you know what, this is not as bad as I thought. Let me try A, B, and C.
Right.
And sometimes,
Absolutely.
whatever the problem is, just go to that person and just let them know. If you come and you're an authentic person and you come and you really meditate about it first and see things in a positive light and really pray about it and then go talk to that person, it's amazing how things can turn around. And I've seen it so much myself, even when I moved from one location to another. And my prayer was, oh, dear God, send me an angel as a landlord. For the clinic.
Yes.
Because the last place they were not angels at all.
Okay.
And so and this is exactly what happened. I received everything I wanted. My lease was $700 less than the last one. So you have to put out what you want. Be careful on what you want. You want to be blessed with. Don't focus in on the negative things and what you don't want, because the things you don't want, you're going to get more of it.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. And another thing, doctor, we have to realize that I think I saw a movie, or at the end of the movie, and the movie quotes, one of the greatest deception that the devil has done to the world in making people think that he's not real.
Wow.
And that's how we are living now in America, like the devil is not real.
That's real talk right there. Absolutely.
It
And when
certainly
people
is.
realize that, they will realize that when they question, where was God when this thing happened? God been there all the time. But
Mm-hmm.
there's certain things, it's the devil. The devil, also, the Bible said, he come to steal, kill, and destroy. Now,
That's
the
right.
devil don't make you do things. You have the power to do it or not to. He just give you suggestion.
That's right.
And he tempts you. But you're the one that took your will and do it because you want to.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
So
Mm-hmm.
we have the power to choose right or wrong. So in spite of the pain you're going through and the thought is saying, end your life, do this, divorce, give up, or whatever the torment or the temptation you're going through, we all go through it, but you got to yield yourself to what's good.
Yes.
And
And
that's the thing about it.
most definitely. And back to, really focus on, especially we're going into a new year. And, people who make all these affirmations or whatever for the following year, I feel that you should just every day just focus on positive things and thoughts. Your thoughts, we have 70,000 thoughts per day. And those 70,000 thoughts per day can't affect your emotions. So,
Wow.
and if that's the case, why don't we have thoughts that are positive as much as possible? Because if you get your emotions involved with those thoughts and they're negative, it's going to affect the outcome of what you're trying to do.
Well,
Would you
that's so
even
true.
would you even say that pain is the effect of a negative experience?
Exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly. But what are you going to do with that negative experience?
Right.
Are you going to let it defeat you, or are you going to come out of it? You're going to
Wow.
think better. You're going to see yourself out of it,
That's
and
right.
you're going to see the future instead of looking at the past. You keep looking at the past, and if you keep looking at the present, and you will not go into the future.
But then in some cases, on certain things, how do we know it's really all that negative?
Hmm. Interesting.
Because
Well,
in
Very
certain
interesting.
things that have happened to my car, and I'm like, oh my goodness, or situations that have happened, and I took a step back, and and I'm praying, and that's what was the purpose in this? Because it's something for me to learn.
yeah,
It's something for me to learn, and it's something for people to learn. What was the purpose of this? Now, I can't say that with everything 100%, but I know of a high percentage. If you step back and ask, it was one incident. This person had a flat tire, and there was a big hole in the tire, and they wanted to know. They was really upset because it could have killed them, but they didn't have a
Mm-hmm.
car accident. But come
Mm-hmm.
to find out, the purpose of that hole in the tire, when they stood back, it actually showed that person something totally, totally different, of something they had to take care of in their life. And once
yeah.
that was taken care, everything went a lot smoother in that person's life.
Mm-hmm.
So I ask people when they have a condition even going on in their body, if it's knee pain, if it's back pain, even with cancer patients, what is the purpose? What happened? What kind of brought this on? And if you lie quietly at night and place your hand anywhere on your body or think of the situation and really come from a sincere heart, God will show you. He will show you either somebody you need to forgive, somebody or a situation you need to forgive yourself. There's something needs to be done,
Hmm.
Hmm. Good
and
point.
it will be revealed. I have people do that all the time. It might just be a flash. One lady, hers was a fibroid tumor, and her flash that she received that night was fear. She had so much fear with everything that she couldn't move forward most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was
Amazing. So,
blocking.
so basically, the fear crippled
It's,
her ability.
it certainly did. So sometimes when we think it's something, and there are things that have happened that are bad,
Sure.
uh, but we need to ask, what is the purpose? You
Mm-hmm.
know, even with my granddaughter here recently, she was bullied to the point, we had to get the police involved a week ago, and then right before that happened, she was beat up. But we she wasn't beat up so bad. Just it bruised her pride to be hit the way she was too, but also she did have a little bruise. But the most important thing, she was pulled away. Maybe before something else down the line could have happened, would have been more serious, that we would not have had any control over.
Yes, absolutely.
So, she's doing just fine. But a lot of times we really have to pay very close attention and ask, why did this happen? Not so much why, what is the purpose?
Mm-hmm.
The purpose around us, because maybe it's time to move forward on something else. Maybe it's time to let go of something materialistic material-wise a person have. Maybe it's time to move forward. We never know.
That's it. That's it.
What do you think, Pat?
Absolutely.
Well, to sum up everything that you say, Romans 8:28, for we know all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord, those who are called according to his purpose. So most of what you and I are going to face, it's if you can withstand it, if you could go, say for instance, you're going across the river, but there's always, high waves, just name it. But once you get across the river, then you'll look back to see where you come from. We never like none. I'll be honest to you. Sometimes as a human being, you complain, but most of some of my complaint and frustration and pain, they said, no pain, no gain. So you will go through stuff, but just don't die. Live. And find great supporters and talk to great people and positive people. And the scripture said, greater is he that lives in you than he that liveth in the world. And what we see here, a lot of people have weak-minded. The Bible talk about the feeble-minded.
Oh, sure.
We have to build up our mind. And look, maybe some may not agree. You read scripture also, but some people have chemical imbalance, so you need the doctor.
That's right. That's right. That's
you need
right.
the doctor to prescribe what you need. And some people don't want to be depressed, but because whatever in their body. So it's a balance. It's physical and spiritual.
Yeah, and depression can really come from too liver disease. A person can get really, really depressed and don't know that their liver enzymes are high, and they can fall into a state of depression just from liver infections and not even aware of that. So, it's so important to address everything that's going on with the person. We want to address it.
Absolutely. We have another question that just came through by email from a listener. Okay, and this one is addressed to both of you. It's a young lady, and she says, Cherilyn, she said she loves your show, and this is very helpful listening in this morning. And then she says to Pastor, okay, she said that she's a flight attendant. She's been working for 5 years. She gets a good paycheck, but she's gotten to a point where she doesn't want to be a flight attendant anymore, but she's afraid to leave her job because she needs it to pay her bills. And now she's experiencing an emotional pain coming to work because she feels that she's grown beyond it. And she's asking, can your book help her with this pain?
Well, as I said earlier, and I'll continue to say it, the amount of testimony I've gotten speak for itself. And I said earlier, it's just like going to the doctor. You may have pain in your chest, but then when the doctor checks you out, you realize the pain is coming from somewhere else. And so that's what the book does. I've heard people say by reading the book, they have to deal with other issues that they did not know that was there. So it triggers other issues. And hers also is kind of a two combination. Sometimes you got to stay where you're at. That's what you call your wilderness experience. You got to stay in the fire until you never know. You may run into something. Just never know. I've talking to people all the time. I've spoken with them who had the same situations. But think about this to encourage yourself. There are people who don't have a job. There are people who wish that they could have a job, but you're fortunate enough and blessed enough to be working. So
That's
just
right.
be patient until you get what you need.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
That is so true. And I just want to say that, for those who tuned in, and we're almost out of time, you're listening to the Cherilyn Lee Health Show. My co-host today is My co-host today is Belinda Foster, and our guest today is the one and only Pastor Alan Beech. I want to say that it's been really, really great. And I want to, before we close off, I just want to thank Jamal at Interlight Radio for allowing us to have this platform, because without you and Interlight Radio, the healing frequency, we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing. So it's truly a blessing to be able to have this opportunity. And I want to know if you have any questions, Jamal. Okay. So,
Oh, and Doctor, do we have time for one more? There's another email that just came in, and this is absolutely powerful. I can get through this. This is directed to you, Dr. Lee, as well as to you, Pastor Beech. It's from a young lady, and she's saying that she's been single for many years, and she says she knows that she's been scarred by previous relationships. And last year, she met an unbelievably wonderful man who lives in another state. And she says that they're the same age and the same age range, and thus spoke the same language regarding courting. And she knew she was in love early on with him. And right about this time, her dad became ill, and her new boyfriend was there for her all the way, even flying in to help with her dad at the hospital and at the house. And her dad, unfortunately, did pass this year. And this gentleman has been right there for her every step of the way. And she's feeling now like she needs some time and space to sort through so many emotions that she's been going through. And she's been somewhat withdrawn from everyone. And she's saying that he's standing by her, but she feels that he may not understand that she needs space, and she does love him, but she does want to be with him. But she's out of energy. She's just like, she needs time, and she needs guidance in how to communicate this to him.
Well, I got to answer this question right quick. My phone seems like it's dying. So I just lost my mom. I buried my mom. And so I understand her pain and her withdrawal. You just need to understand and work with her. And and it will. Some people grieve longer, but eventually she will come through. But if the person loved her, he must understand.
Yes.
As a pastor, the church did not allow me to grieve. Sometimes the church just don't understand. But as a leader, I have to push through it. You're talking about push beyond your pain. Like you have kids, and you can't die because one of your other kids died. You got to live for the other kids. And that's how it was. I've lost my mom, only one mom you could ever have, but that pain is so deep, but I still live and survive and look back on it. Thank God. So the person needs to understand, and if he loves her, he will understand. She needs her time to grieve.
Yes.
And I feel the same way, but also keep in mind, sometimes it's not good to spend a lot of time by yourself. If that person loves you and you have time to grieve, yes. But sometimes if they understand you need your space, but sometimes when you're together, you don't really have to do a lot of talking. It's just that person to be there and just hold your hand. It's really comforting through that grief period. But everybody will grieve differently. So I really feel, as long as you know that person is there, and then if a person, like the pastor said, love you, he will definitely, be there and be understanding. But sometimes just let him know, I just don't want to talk. If you could just sit there and just hold my hand.
Yeah.
That person would get through it a lot faster too. That's
true. Remember when Job lost everything? When his friend shows up for 3 days, they said nothing. They sat with him.
Okay. Well, I have to tell both of you that Dr. Lee, you may want to book another show with Pastor Beech, because the board is lighting up here with other emails, which I know from people sending in their questions. So this may be a part 2. Would you say?
Yes, most definitely. Because actually, he has other books too. And we forgot, and if you don't mind, you want to give your website so people, if they want to purchase the book.
Oh, yeah, they can go to GAHC, Ministries. I think it's .com or .org. So it's the Greater Anointing Harvest Church. So we abbreviate it GAHC Ministry. Ministries.com or .org. I think it's .com.
Okay.
Oh, they could call me at the church, 617-287-2144. 617-287-2144. Just leave me a message.
And I just want to say that you have opened up a window of opportunities for me, and that's going to help through the clinic here. And I want to just announce it publicly and say thank you so much for the things that you're putting in place that we'll be sharing later in different shows here. And also, the movie that you're playing in, that movie is going to be released in 2013, isn't it?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll be talking about that a little more. It's the journey of another pastor. That's how I met you, because we did the taping for the emergency room scene in my office, and we just met this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it seemed like I've been knowing you for months. Of all the things we have discussed, it's been amazing, it's really an honor. This is why I say, that I usually say it at the end of my show. But I'm so grateful that I'm a magnet for miracles, and I just keep having miracle after miracle after miracle. So I keep meeting wonderful people. And the journey, it's been a journey. My life journey is probably no different than a lot of other people's journey. But we stay on that journey and pull in the best positive things from it and learn things. What we feel is negative, learn from those things. Because sometimes those negative things is not as negative as you think.
Amen.
And I have to say, you're getting a number of thank you. This is a great show today. Emails coming in as we speak. I'm looking at the emails right now. This is amazing.
It is. It really is. And I'm going to see here. I guess I wasn't reading everything. We have to close now.
Okay.
I didn't even see any of that. So forgive me on the other end. So I'm going to thank my guests again, and thank you so, so very much, Pastor. And this has been wonderful.
Thank you, Cherilyn. Thank you, Pastor. Wonderful.
As my guest, Belinda.
Thank you so much.
You're listening to the Cherilyn Lee Health Show with your host, Dr. Cherilyn Lee, and my co-host as of today, December 19th. Belinda Foster. And again, tune in next week, December 26th, for another wonderful show. God bless you, and repeat after me. I am so grateful that I am a magnet for miracles. And our prayers go out to everyone. Have a wonderful and blessed and safe holiday. Do not overeat. Watch your calories. Watch the fat. Stay away from the processed foods. And have a wonderful, wonderful holiday. So we'll be on the air the first day of Kwanzaa. God bless you.